What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the YouTube streets. BigZoeTV. Let's go, man. Y'all already know we ain't letting up in this month. We gonna keep doing the motherfucking thing, man. Y'all already know. Let's go. Today, I'm just gonna react to the news that's happening out there. What's going on out there? Because they out there saying that Drake got new Kendrick diss tracks, or he had some diss tracks in the chamber that he never released. And I don't know, I think different. I think he just had a bunch of diss tracks and he picked the best ones out of them. And one of the best one was, you know, the ones that we've heard. But listen, I could be wrong. This video is from Fantastic Hip Hop. Shout out to Fantastic Hip Hop. Why Drake is getting cooked for having new Kendrick diss tracks. So yeah, let's go.
Now, with what Drake has just done, despite the way he has been getting dragged in the media non-stop right now for just consistently pushing the boundaries on how pathetic somebody whose job title is a rapper can be, he is not stopping any of his efforts to remain in the limelight and attempt to try and garner back any fans that he lost. And although every effort of his so far has been continuing to not just fail but make things worse, right now with the latest way Drake is trying to convince people that he is not at rock bottom, has managed to be one of the most confusing and pathetic yet, and as a result, the term crash out at this point is really getting an entirely new meaning. Because seriously, with the narratives Drake is trying to push now, and the obvious blatant manipulation that he is trying to win back any respect with, aside from already being the most despised person in hip-hop, even in a genre and art form where redemption has been such a big theme over the years, with what Drake has done, he has really just soiled any chance of ever making a comeback. And so now with what we have seen happening regarding Drake,
bro, every time I see that scene with him and J. Cole playing chess, it just make me feel like, bro, yeah, I didn't even see this shit coming. Like, this shit came out of nowhere for y'all niggas. Like, for y'all to be in this video playing chess, like y'all the top two, and everybody just looking, this shit played out completely wrong and completely different from the story that y'all probably had drew up in y'all head, man. Insane.
For a change, instead of having himself embarrassing his own name, reputation, and legacy, others are actually going out and doing it for him, whether they realize it or not. And
we know who you talking about.
In this time where nobody wants to be seen, associated, or affiliated with Drake, this has changed a little bit, as not one but two major players in hip-hop now are standing alongside him, with the first person being none other than Latto, who did a video for Drake's Nocta brand, where even when trying to hype up the stuff he is working on outside of music, what's very noticeable here is that Drake and his creative team still decided to poke fun at Kendrick Lamar by making an emphasis to talk about how the brand has shoes even for short people, and in the frame when Latto says this, they zoom in on white Air Forces. But now even bigger than this subtle way of trying to make fun of Kendrick, and with someone of Latto's size doing it at that, there has been another person who's not just a star in hip-hop, but really a titan in the industry who has been around for decades, who seemingly went out and tried to, while not necessarily defend Drake, just as attempted to recontextualize and make his position in his beef with Kendrick look way better than we all saw it out to be.
Before you go on that tangent, I just want to talk about the short jokes, man. Like, bruh, I feel like that has been a running joke forever, bruh. Like, really though, how tall is Kendrick Lamar? Let me look this up, cause this shit is ridiculous. Like, you ever seen somebody who don't got no jokes, so they just keep saying the same shit over and over again, just hoping that somebody finally pick up on it? I feel like that's where we at. All right, Kendrick Lamar is 5'5". I mean, at the end of the day, Lil Wayne is 5'5" as well. Eminem is 5'8". Travis Scott is 5'10". So Travis Scott taller than all them niggas. Drake is like 6 foot even. Like, what are we really talking about here, bro? We talking about a difference of what, 5'5" and 6 feet? I mean, come on, y'all. Yes, he's shorter than Drake, but when you gotta subject yourself to short jokes and you can't come up with anything else, we've heard it a million times in this beef. Like this size 7 man's on was like your loudest line in like one of your diss tracks. Like, come on, man. Let's come up with something else, man. Lil Wayne is 5'5" as well. So you got the same shit to say about Lil Wayne? You want to give Lil Wayne some of your Air Forces for short people? Like, come on, man. Let's stop that, man. Come up with something good,
and
original.
Who did this was none other than 50 Cent. And so now what 50 did was to first off try and frame just how stacked the industry against him is, by looking and talking about a list of seemingly every
If you ain't watched my video, that list was crazy. That's a crazy list. Hilarious. Crazy.
Single person that Drake is against right now. And while this list originated on social media, it is framed as the official list of everyone who Drake has beef with. From the obvious people like Kendrick Lamar and all the artists against him, to even NBA players like LeBron James and DeMar DeRozan, to even some other content creators and legendary hip-hop journalists. While 50 Cent was looking at this and thought it was funny in a way that there is an entire list that someone made to really highlight just how many people are against Drake, the fact that this list has reached the point where it is being printed out, and now with 50 seemingly showing off and going through it, this is going to be taken as the official rulebook of who is really against Drake. And so far, the optics of this are just not good, because if people ranging from Tyler the Creator to LeBron are not on your side, maybe you need to start reflecting on yourself.
And that's a good point. Honestly, bro, it's almost like in this whole thing, Drake really been cooking himself, bro. Oh my God. Throw yourself in the damn pot, turn the shit up on high, put a little bit of extra water, and please put some seasoning in that. Cause you just been cooking yourself this whole time, bro. Like, nobody's really out here cooking you, dog. You're cooking yourself. Oh like, God. Everything that he has done has just become like a joke to people. And people get upset when you point this out because the first thing they want to do is go, you're hating. Like, the man is burying himself. Like, how is it so hard to see that? And I get it. You're fighting an L. When you fighting an L, you just throwing punches in the air. You don't know where they gonna land. You just hoping they land on something and you can make it out of this fight.
You're a victim.
And that's cool. Do what you gotta do, my guy. Like, you gotta hustle, bruh. I ain't mad at you. Hustle, dog. But look, don't act like this is something that you could just keep on winning, bruh. We're not gonna keep fighting this L, bruh. Let the L happen, bruh. It's coming. Ain't nothing you could do about it. Come on, man. We gotta let this shit ride, bruh. Like, let it ride, bruh. Like, you tripping.
He revealed that in Drake's vault of music, he has even more Kendrick Lamar diss tracks that we have never heard. And now what 50 said specifically was that Drake was loaded and ready to go. I know they had new material.
Stop the cap.
So Drake was loaded and ready to go? All right, y'all. How much do y'all believe that? Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I believe it in a little bit. There's no way that you don't have other diss tracks. Now, the thing is, are the diss tracks even good? Because I ain't gonna lie, if it's me and I'm making a whole bunch of diss tracks and I'm getting ready to go to battle, like, I'm gonna have a whole bunch of diss tracks ready. But guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna release the best one. So I think that's what he ended up doing. And the best one you probably got was Heart Part 6.
What is
and
that?
Push-Ups. The other ones probably either wasn't worthy or he said some things that he knew would probably not have sat right with the people. Like, maybe they went too far, or maybe they were just a little too much. Like, maybe that's the case. But at the same time, man, if somebody calling you a PDF file is that big of an issue for you, release them tracks, dog. Don't try to be nice and shit now. Release them. If you got them, release them, dog. Fight back. Fight back.
Oh my God.
Like, come on, man. You gotta figure it out. Fight back, bro.
There's no way you stop and you're losing. Nah, I gotta fix this. And now with 50 saying this, putting this alongside all the other context we know and everything this beef has shown us, this is actually revealing to us a lot. And now first off, going back to a track like Push-Ups. If hearing the DJ Who Kid intro wasn't enough, which for those who don't know was 50 Cent and G-Unit's official DJ, and seeing Drake have an entire G-Unit spinning chain at the beginning of the Family Matters music video.
Yo, that's crazy. That is kind of wild. Listen, when I saw that and the Who Kid sample in the beginning, I was like, and then after that, seeing like 50 Cent meet up with him and they sitting there talking, I'm like, yeah, these two trying to do some work together, which is cool, man. Do whatever you got to do for business, like eat, feed your family. But I knew there was some shit going on. So to have all that being seen and then seeing them together and then seeing 50 Cent come on Big Boy Show and like basically like make these points for Drake, it does say a lot, bro. It looks a little spooky, dog. It looks like y'all, like you trying to help the man. But I also seen 50 do this before, where if an artist like particularly like shows some type of respect or pays homage to like G-Unit or whatever, like he'll give that artist some favor. You know what I mean? Like I've seen him do that before.
Didn't help either. With 50 Cent now having actual information about the fact that beyond the tracks Drake released already, he had even more, when you really put the pieces together and see how Push-Ups was a whole track where Drake was saying that with everyone he's going against and with everything he's doing, he is turning into the modern 50 Cent, it's safe to say that 50 wasn't just in the know about what Drake was doing in this time, but he was directly contributing and giving him ideas on where to go.
That's crazy. That's a good point. Y'all think 50 Cent was giving Drake pointers on what to do? Because the irony of that is he ended up looking like Ja Rule a little bit, man. I don't know if the advice works, man, but what y'all think? I don't know. Interesting.
genre, saying that they were giving Drake advice during the beef because just a few months ago, Joe Budden also said that Drake was speaking to him about certain things during the back and forth, which is very telling about the network and echelon of rappers he was trying to hear from when it came to holding his own against Kendrick. But now with 50 saying that Drake had more diss tracks that were ready to go, and with the context of the conversation him and Big Boi were having, which was referring to when Kendrick Lamar dropped 4 entire diss tracks within the span of just a few days, overall this really just poses more questions than it gives answers about Drake, and him being in the booth and having material ready to go. Because with 50 Cent being in the loop with him and on some strong level, offering up advice and direction on where to go and how to make these major diss tracks entire full-fledged moments, as his brand, legacy, and name was directly ingrained in both Push-Ups and Family Matters, and then Drake having confirmed more songs ready to go that were dissing Kendrick after Not Like Us dropped. It makes you wonder why instead of releasing another song about Kendrick that could have redirected attention and saved his legacy, he just went out and wrote The Heart Part 6 as fast as he could instead, which then embarrassed his entire legacy with one of the worst response tracks of all time.
One of the worst response tracks of all times. Do y'all agree with that? Let me know in the comments, man. He said it. I ain't say it. He said it.
And while all this is jarring, when you think about everything we saw and see how after Kendrick Lamar threw out so many different disses Drake's way lyrically, in such a short period of time that he still hasn't been able to come back from, and remember that the bar Drake already set with his diss tracks was pretty much him calling Kendrick Lamar short every single way he
See, that's what I'm talking about, bro. Every single way that he can call that man short, he calling him short, bro. Like, that's literally the only thing that he got really to say.
could, and then trying to get a glimpse into his personal life and making some of the worst claims and rebuttals about it, which range from him saying Dave Free was the father of one of his kids with no evidence, that Baby Keem writes his own song.
Yo, that Baby Keem writing for Kendrick thing was hilarious. That was funny. That was a funny, laughable accusation, bro. Like, talk about stretching, bro, and trying to reach for whatever you can.
When he was playing Minecraft while Kendrick entered the rap game as a top-tier MC. The Mother Eye lines, which I don't even have to get into how bad those are.
Mother eye.
An angle as ridiculous to talk about as why Whitney was following Dave Free.
Why is she following Dave Free and not Mr. Morale? Yo, when you think about these lines now after everything, it sounds crazy, bro. Mother eye. Why is she following Dave Free and not Mr. Morale?
Clear that even on the songs Drake hyped up for months and that he was saying we're gonna end the career of Kendrick Lamar's as we knew.
Yo, y'all remember the red button? Yo, this man, when you talk about aging, these shits did not age well, bro. Aged pretty terribly. Ouch.
Knew it. That whether he realized it or not, that he already had nothing strong to say about him and was trying to treat Kendrick the same way he did with someone like Meek Mill, and believed that that would work. But of course, very similar to what happened with Drake and Pusha T, but just way worse than that because Kendrick actually has the popularity to take down Drake's massive image. K-Dot was just so prepared and already was able to do so much to shake down his image with just 4 full-on diss songs, that Drake knew that if he took it further and threw more tracks out of his own vault, and of course he already knew that Kendrick said he had even more diss tracks in stock because he said that directly on Not Like Us, that if those songs already made him the laughingstock of the rap game, if this back and forth continued, it would have managed to somehow make things even worse. And on some level, I do think that that is true. Because if Meet the Grams and Not Like Us were disses number 3 and 4, I don't even think we want to know what diss tracks number 5 and 6 made.
That's a good point. That's a good point. In the sense of Drake not releasing more tracks, because you might ask the question, why didn't he just release tracks since he had some? Like, if he had some in stock, why didn't he release them? Well, after Not Like Us, we all know how big that record was. We already know how everybody was looking at Drake. We already know the jokes that were going around. So I think in his mind, he was like, I'm done, man. Let me take my ball and go home. Like, bruh, I ain't playing with y'all no more. Like, you done lost all the games, bruh. So it's like, I'm gonna take my ball and I'm gonna go home. I think that's what happened. So I don't think he wanted to play the diss track games anymore, or somebody probably finally advised him to just, yo, let it go. Let it go.
And if Drake really was the hitmaker that he was once revered at, and wasn't just manipulating the system to get all of his number ones this decade so far for the most part, which I am sure as he is in his next major situation already with his label and while he's trying to take down the success of Not Like Us as a whole, we are going to learn a lot more about just how artificially manipulated Drake's stuff has been for a very long. Altogether, I think knowing this context that 50 has told us, Unless Drake is planning to roll some of these songs out maybe around the Super Bowl or when his next album is coming out to try to make that project be a lot more interesting than it would be otherwise. This really solidifies that while he overestimated him at first, as soon as Euphoria released and then everything else happened, Drake was terrified of Kendrick Lamar, and while on the Hard Part 6, Drake may have framed it as a track where he was standing on a high ground over the antics of name-calling and deception, it was really him admitting that for a while. His ability to make a catchy diss record the way he once did with something like Back to Back, or anything in general that would rival Not Like Us, not just from a diss standpoint, but from a melody and vibe standpoint overall, is just absolutely gone. And Drake knows that he is washed and that he is never going to be able to make something as good and infectious as a moment like that. And just to further
Back to Back was definitely a moment, bro. Back to Back was a moment. I ain't gonna lie. Like, Back to Back was a moment. Like, I can only imagine how Meek Mill was feeling hearing that shit everywhere, bro. And, you know, we might say that, you know, Drake was going around telling people not to play Not Like Us. I'm pretty sure Meek was going around telling them not to play Back to Back when he was in the club. So, hey, call it spade a spade. It is what it is.
Visualize this. When we look at Drake since CLB, really, compared to the way he used to make anthems that the entire world knew and recognized immediately, he actually hasn't had a real hit in years, as whether it's from ghostwriters leaving him or just his own decline as an artist, from a structural level, he can't write songs the same way he used to, because seriously, with every album he has dropped this decade, the biggest songs off every single one of those records came and went as number ones off their initial hype, the features they had attached to them, or the sample that called back to an actual successful hit. And really recognizing this pattern and seeing that there's no more Drake anthems that have been released, and then seeing that In the Beef, Not Like Us was such a scathing and infectious diss track that Drake just decided to hold back on his vault of other disses, which with the way 50 talks about here sounded like there was a lot of. Altogether, what we can see is that even with a legend in his corner trying to help him win this thing like 50 Cent, Drake's strategy was so terrible, and whether due to his own overconfidence or just the way he disregarded 50's words maybe, he never thought out how to actually effectively go after Kendrick Lamar, not just lyrically, because again, in hindsight, everything Drake had said fell apart almost on impact, but also in terms of just crafting a diss track in this day and age where these songs hit streaming platforms and become bigger cultural phenomenons than they ever have been before, which is a trend that he started. And overall, while Drake will never admit any of this, of course, all of this really proves that both as an actual MC, competitor, and as a hitmaker and pop star, which is something that Drake and everyone thought he would always have, Drake is beyond washed, and in this time where it's rumored that he wants more than anyone has ever gotten from his label and their upcoming deal that he's trying to make, and this is another reason why he is doing what he is to go against them, it's no surprise that he's not getting his way, because why would you give someone in rap what's the equivalent to a max contract to someone that has shown, despite their stardom years ago, that they are now on one of the biggest declines we have ever seen?
Yo, shout out to Fantastic Hip Hop. Listen, a lot of good points in there. I think honestly Drake is at a point where we all said this before. We all said that he just needs to chill out and figure it out. And come out, do your thing, but you got to do your thing on a rollout that makes sense. You got to look humble out here. You got to show some humility. I think if Drake could show some humility, I think he's in a better place. Show some humility, show the people that, okay, you lost, but okay, I'm here to make music. You know, and the people that still rock with you and the people that still can relate to your music, they gonna listen, bro. It is what it is. I mean, you just gotta come out here, do you, but you gotta accept the position that you're in when you do it. Drake has a bunch of diss tracks. I mean, listen, throw those diss tracks away. Don't even bother with the beef. We would love to see it for entertainment purposes, but if I'm speaking to you from a person that wants to see you do better and come back in a better way, a better person learning from this, throw them shits away, bro. Throw them shits away, tuck them away, do whatever you got to do with it, man. I think the Super Bowl is going to go on just the way it's going to go on. I think Kendrick is still going to do Not Like Us. Whatever Drake is trying to do to stop it, it just looks right now like you're stomping, screaming, and having a hissy fit, bro. Don't do it to yourself. But this is what happens, man, when you can't accept defeat, when you don't have the humility to understand when you should just let it go. Let it go, bro. You're lost. It is what it is. But I think Drake is gonna do what he does. You obviously know he has that tour coming up, and Kendrick is gonna perform as he should. But listen, man, y'all let me know how y'all feel about it. Do y'all think Drake can come back? Let me know. Till next time. You know what it is. It's your boy Goods, BigZoeTV. Let's go.
Again! Niggas acting bad, but somebody gotta do it. Got my foot up on the gas, but somebody gotta do it.